I hear somebody's got birds singing. It's the sun's up somewhere.
Yeah, that's me, Gigi.
Yeah,
Aloha in Hawaii.
oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my God.
I'm sitting on Waikiki Beach right now.
Oh, I'm jealous. Your beach sounds like it's full of birds and sunshine, and mine's storming. We have lightning and
Yeah,
water standing like 3 inches outside.
yeah.
What's up, Seattle? I know you guys know, Paul, no, they can't steal the skill set. One thing about Forex, once you learn how to trade, nobody can ever take that from you. You can just add to it and increase your skill set. One thing about me, I love to trade, but I love to study and learn more stuff. I want to know as much about Forex as I can. It's like a never-ending journey for me, and sometimes I feel like I study more than I trade. And I see people who've been trading 10, 15 years, and they still study and they try to increase their skill set. So, I tell people, if you've only been trading a year or two, you're really just touching the tip of the iceberg. There's still so much more knowledge out there. That's why I appreciate you guys jumping out on here on a Friday night. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And do we have any new traders? Is there anybody brand new? If you could just drop a 1 in the chat. If you're new to Forex or you're just learning how to trade, drop a 1 in the chat. I think Carlos is a 1. Welcome, Carlos. Levante. Welcome, Shanice. So I'm going to start with basic market structure, and I'm only going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes because what I'm going to teach you in the next 10 or 15 minutes is really all you need to understand the basics of basic market structure. Yes, I am recording ForexNChill on Friday night, as always recorded. So I'll ask you, if you're not speaking or asking a question, do stay muted because we do want a good, clean recording that everyone can learn from at a later date, or the ones who missed it tonight can get the replay. So we're going to talk about Forex. For those of you who are new, people ask all the time, is Forex a scam? How do people make money at this? Why have I never heard of it? Well, Forex is older than anyone on this call. Forex started being traded by what they call paper trading, where you would have to go into a broker and give them your money or your account, and they would make calls on whether or not to buy a currency or sell a currency based on economics and based on the structure of the previous market. They would get a daily candle. These things we're looking at right here. I'm going to switch over to a traditional view. A lot of people are used to looking at the red and green. So I'm going to switch over to that real quick, but then I'll switch back to the black. So a lot of people are used to seeing red and green candles. And of course, red means it's on sale. This means the market is selling off, and green means it's buying up. So these people would get one daily candle, which right here we're on the monthly. This one candle represents a month of movement in the market. And they would draw out on a piece of paper how the market was moving, and they would look at the most recent highs and the most recent lows, and they would place a wager as to whether they thought the market was going to go up, which would be a buy, or it was going to go down, it would be a sell. Now, Forex started to help equalize and stabilize the world economy after World War II, and the dollar was the most stable currency at the time. So everything was traded against the dollar. But that's just a little bit about Forex and how it got started. And, fast forward into the 90s, the internet came around. It started opening up the doors to people like us to get into Forex, but still back during that time, it would cost you a $100,000 account to even consider getting started trading. I'm gonna mute everybody real quick, and you can unmute yourselves later if you have a question. But we have to be thankful for the internet, because now you can start a trading account with $10 or $50. You can get an education like I did with iMarkets Live, starting at like $200. There were people paying $25,000 for an education on learning how to trade. So the internet has really leveled the playing field. So anybody without an education, without a degree, without a credit check or background check, we are able to trade. So what I'm going to teach tonight is market structure. And this is the market, and we're going to look at the overall structure of the market so we can determine whether we're going to buy a currency or sell a currency. And we get paid in pips, P-I-P-S, point in price. So like if something moves up 1 pip and I'm trading at a 0.01, I'll make 10 cents. At a 0.10, I'll make $1. And at 1.0, I would make $10. So for instance, if I sold this and made 100 pips, I could make $1, $10, $100, just depending on what lot size that I'm trading. That's getting a little bit more into understanding the basics. But right now, I'm going to analyze this chart starting from my monthly. This is our monthly. The 1M means monthly. 1 week. So each one of these candles before, you know, it was a month. Now each one of these candles is a week. And so it would take 4 of these candles to make a monthly. And here is our daily, and it would take 5 of these candles to make a weekly chart because the market is traded 5 days per week. So we analyze on the monthly, weekly, and daily, and it's called top-down analysis. So we're starting from the top frame, which is the monthly, working down to the daily to find out where we are in the market. So when I look at the market, I don't want to go all the way back here. This is what the market was doing in 1993. I want to look at the most recent price action in the market because this more accurately describes where we are currently with, at the left, you see the Great British Pound versus the US dollar. So since September, October 2016 until now, this is the area I'm going to focus on because it most equally represents or fairly represents the market in the past years. Ooh, told you guys it was storming here. So we're going to focus on this little time frame right here. And this is the current status of the Great British Pound against the US dollar. And looking on the monthly time frame, it's clear to see that we are definitely in a downtrend. So this is the strongest time frame that we can trade off of. So I know that on a higher time frame that I am definitely in a downtrend. So if I look to buy the market, it's going to be short-lived because that's considered a correction in the market. Like here, I had a definite downtrend. This buy trend was a correction. This buy trend was a correction. This buy trend was just a deeper correction of this downtrend. It didn't take out the previous high, and we continued in a downtrend. So what I'm looking for is 3 types of price actions. I'm looking for impulse, correction, and a continuation. And that's if we're in a buyer's market, or an impulse, correction, and a continuation, and a seller's market like we just saw right here. Impulse, correction, continuation, correction, and continuation, correction, and so forth. And that's all the market does, guys. We can either be sellers or we can be buyers. So we're going to look at this from the monthly down to the daily, and we're going to determine, are we buyers or sellers in this market? So what I want to do this time, I'm going to focus on my most recent lows. This is a swing low because you see this is out here by itself and there's nothing lower than that. And this is a swing low. So I'm going to take this tool right here and I'm going to box in my most recent swing lows and my most recent swing high on the monthly time frame. Going to my weekly, I'm going to do my most recent swing high. I'm not going to concentrate on this right here because it's so close to my monthly that I really don't need to focus on that price point, because we can definitely see we're still in an overall downtrend. This market has not reversed. So more than likely it's going to come down and test this monthly low. So I'm done with my weekly. I can go down to my daily. There's a little refresh button here. I can refresh my chart. This green line here is showing me where price ended today. So now on the daily, we see the market tried to go up and it did close above this high, but that wasn't my most recent swing high. So we could still see some sell action here. So when I get to my daily, I'm going to focus on this right here as my swing low. And I could stop mid-range here, but I'm going to go to this area right here as my swing high. And if you ask me why, one of the most important things we want to do in the market is look left. And if we look left, this is a hot action period right here. This time zone and this price action right here, this point of interest caught my eye. So this is going to be the swing high that I'm going to focus on my daily, and I'll put that right there. Now, my monthly, my weekly, and my daily, all 3 confirmed that I am in a downtrend. So I'm going to focus on selling this market until I see something that confirms that I am in a buyer's market. Now, some people will come in and they will draw a trend line to box in this action. And then what they'll look for is a break of that trend line, a retest, and a continuation, which we said earlier, we look for impulse, correction, and continuation. Now, looking at where this chart stopped, we could get this, and then a continuation. Or we could get it to come back down here, clear out this low, take out that monthly low we saw earlier, or we could get it to come here. So what we're going to do now, because we have this market trapped in, we're going to pay close attention to this on the lower time frame. So again, our higher time frames, our monthly, weekly, and daily, which are our three most important time frames, have told us where we are in the market. What is the market doing? The market is selling. Now, our 4 hour and our 1 hour is going to tell us when the market is doing it. When I get to my 4 hour, I'm going to take this trend line off for a minute, because sometimes the market will go sideways, and I'll tell you how the market can trap you. This could go sideways and break through this trend line and still continue to sell, and that's called consolidation. So we could get something similar to this, and then break to the downside. And so people would be thinking this trend line had gotten broken, and they would start looking for buys, but what we would have had going on here would be some sideways consolidation. So that's why you just have to be careful of trend lines, because sometimes they can break. Like it could break this, retest this most recent high, and then continue to sell. All right. So when I get here, where I'm looking to see when the market is going to continue to the downside, I'm going to start paying attention to my most recent swing highs and swing lows on the lower time frame. So I can come in here, I can box in this price action here, and I'm going to see how price is going to react here. If it breaks this level of resistance, it's resistance because it's tried to go through several times and has failed to do so. The lower portion here is support. It's supporting it here, it's resisting it here. If it rejects off that, I could see it come back down here again like it did here. If it bounces through, it's going to retest this area. You will always have a breakout and a retest of those areas, and then it would come up. This would be your next key zone. Why? Because we have basically equal highs going on in this area. And then it would do the same thing here. This would now become support, and this would become your resistance. And one thing I didn't mention on these zones right here that we're marking off, your zones at the top, these are supply zones, because when we are supplying something to someone, we are selling it. And if you look right here, we sold, we sold, we sold. It came back up in here again. All of this is sellers. This is a supply zone right here. All right. And when you get to the bottom and you're testing it from the bottom, this is a buyer's market or demand. When you're trying to buy something, you're demanding it. So the people down there here are demanding, and the people up top are supplying. So that's our supply and demand zones. But going back to our 4 hour, we're going to watch price action around these levels right here. If it rejects, it's going to sell off. If we back out a little bit farther, let me zoom out. If it breaks this, this was our daily support, and this was that weekly and monthly support that we were looking at. All right, are there any questions on this so far? And if you don't have any questions on this, then I'll go to a lower time frame and look at how we would get an entry. I see some messages in the chat. You can unmute yourselves, and yes, Carlos, if you're new, it's going to be Greek to you. This is sort of intermediate. I wouldn't call it advanced yet, but this is intermediate. You probably need to understand what flags are and trend lines and support and resistance. So you would have to go to a beginner's class. I'll have to do a special Friday night for beginners. But if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask right now. And if not, I'm going to mark up a chart from scratch going a little bit faster. Anybody got any questions on this? All right, so we're going to break it down to the 15-minute and why you would have entered a sell at this area and a buy at this area. We can look at the hourly first. Again, we got our refresh tool here. So we look for patterns in the market. Earlier, I was telling you that we look for impulse, correction, continuation. Off this zone here, we know that we are in a buyer's zone, and we got an impulse that engulfed this previous candle. So you had an impulse, a correction, then we got our continuation. Now all of this price action here, it's on a lower time frame. It's creating what we call a flag pattern, which is a continuation pattern. Since we know we're in an uptrend, you could have been a buyer. This is just an uptrend on a smaller zone. You could call this next impulse, then you have another correction, and then a continuation. All right, when we got to this zone that we said is a supply zone, an area for sellers, the market immediately started hitting resistance and rejecting off, which would tell us that we're probably going to get it a sell back down to this lower support area. And that's why I told you have to know where you are in the market at all times, because remember I said on the higher time frame, we're in an overall sell. So sellers still have the most control of this market. So that's why this buy was short-lived, because on the 1 hour, it was just a correction of this downtrend. And remember I told you you can draw a trend line, and that trend line at one point got broken, but all it did was move sideways, give us some sideways consolidation, sideways action. So that's why I stopped using trend lines. They're good to trap the market, but just because they got broken doesn't mean that you have a reversal. And there's a lot of people that do depend on them for a reversal. All right, so I'm going to mark this up again real fast, or I can take another pair. Is there another pair somebody would like to look at? You can drop it in the chat or unmute yourselves. I'm going to mark this up. I'm going to tell you how fast it is. I can analyze this chart in about 30 seconds and know whether or not I'm looking for a buy or a sell, because my higher time frame is going to tell me. I mean, I can already look at this and tell I'm in a downtrend. There is nothing telling me that I should be looking for buys except for the fact we are at the lowest point this currency has ever been. The countries that control their currencies, they do not want to let their economy fail. So they're going to try to do something like raise interest rates. Right now, if those of you familiar with trading, we know we're being affected by Brexit when it comes for the Great British Pound pairs. So that's really taking a toll on the Great British Pound. And economics play a big factor in trading Forex. And that's a hint as to what we have coming up with our special guest tonight. Our special guest is going to show you how to make a lot of money by trading based off the economics, off the news that we get every week. So that's your first hint to who our special guest is, who drove all the way to Myrtle Beach tonight to grace you with his or her presence. I'm not going to say who it is, so y'all won't start guessing. I know everybody right now, they're like, oh, but I know who it is, but we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm going to mark this up, and I'm going to focus on my most recent low and my most recent high. I'm going to go down to my weekly. I don't need my most recent low because we're already there. Got my most recent high, and I go to my daily. I'm going to refresh this, and I'm going to look at this most recent swing high. And like I said, right now I am already looking for just sales. So I know I'm going to go here and mark this off, and I'm going to look for my next sell opportunity. And again, I'm focusing on these equal highs here. My surmise or my guess of what they might do, they might come up here, retest this high, fake people out, and then bring it back down to the lower support area that we have going on here. And once it tests this area, because we're already getting a rejection, then we will see if it's going to reject from here and go up or come back down. But that's my analysis of GBP USD. Let me see if we have anything in the chat. Let's see, GA, gold, GCAD. Let's see. We're going to do this real fast, and then I'm going to let the special guest come on. GA, look, I already had that marked up, and it's doing basically the same thing. A lot of the GBP pairs are doing the same thing. And remember what I just told you about that pair could come here, take this and fake out and then drop. If you see this wick on the daily, on the 4-hour time frame, it doesn't look like much on the daily, but on the 4-hour and 1 hour, that was 200 pips. So people were looking to sell, 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 sell. On the lower time frame, they faked the market out. They knew everybody was sitting here waiting for the sale. That's why you have to be careful at these zones, because the market makers will fake you out. And look what else it did. It pierced this trend line. And remember, I told you that's another thing you have to be careful of, trend lines. It broke this trend line. So now people are thinking we're in a buy, and all it did was turn around and drop from this previous high. It dropped 473 pips. That could have paid somebody's bills for the whole month right there. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this candle. When I go to the 4-hour, or that wick, look at what this wick is now. It's a big candle to the upside. It hit that previous high and immediately rejected. This was to trap buyers. Well, they knew people were selling here, so they took the people's money. Now people start looking at buys. It gets here, everybody's buying. It hits that, and then it sells, and it took the buyer's money, just continued to the downside. Now me, I'm a swing trader. So if I had sold this from up here, even though it did this, I would have held my sell, and I would still be holding it down to the bottom, because I know that we're in the middle of nowhere. One thing you will rarely get is a market reversal in the middle of nowhere. So this is probably going to come all the way back down here and retest this low. All right, that's my analysis of GA. I think we had gold and GCAD, and then I'm going to turn it over to the special guest. GCAD's probably doing similar. Yep, it's in a definite downtrend. Just looking at it on the daily, you can tell it's going down. When it closed, it didn't take out the previous swing high. So more than likely, it might come back down here and retest this low or this low. Now, the weekly candle, something very important you want to notice right here, the weekly candle did close above the previous weekly candle. So with this pair, you could get your correction and then your continuation. But it still remains to be seen, because if you look at it on the monthly, it is still, if we just took all this off and focus on the monthly, we're still at this low right here, could be taken out. And if it breaks that, we have this. So just because we got that one weekly candle, that doesn't mean we won't get some correction or sell off to retest these lows, because on the monthly, we have a very small, this is the whole month of August so far. It's a very small buy candle. It is nothing aggressive on the higher time frame. All right, we'll look at gold, and then I'm going to introduce our guest for tonight. And make sure you got a pen and paper, because you want to try this in demo a couple times before you go live. And all right, now can you see gold?
Yes, you can see
Yes,
gold.
ma'am. Yep.
All right, we are back on track. Let's mark up gold. All right, for those new people, do you remember what our 3 most important time frames are?
Monthly, weekly, and daily.
Thank you. So my monthly, I got my previous low. Now I would normally look at this as my previous high, but gold is pushing up and we're still in the middle of August. So this would be my previous monthly high. I don't like going back that far, but anybody who's been trading gold, we know that for the past, let's see, that was 2013, for the past 6 years, we have been failing to break through this zone. And last month we broke through. We broke through in June. June, we broke a 13-year high right here. So that's why normally I would focus on this candle, but because of the fact that this broke out of this 2013 high, I'm going to focus on the high from March 2013. So we could see this continue to climb overall. It's definite that we're in an uptrend here on the monthly, and gold from here to up here has gone up 3,800 pips. All right, so that is a definite buy on the monthly. If we go down to the weekly, and that's why all these time frames are important. You want an overall picture. On the weekly, this candle closed today at 5 p.m. Eastern, so we will take that as our most recent high. And we will take this area right here as our most recent low. Then we'll go down to our daily, and we won't have to take a new higher low here because we are at the high. Now, what I think is going to happen is you see right here, for those of you who know patterns, we have what is called an ascending channel, right? An ascending channel is a reversal pattern. And we already see it's rejected 1, 2, 3, 4 times off this this daily high. The last couple days it's hit this high just to reverse. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This is a reversal pattern. We go down to the 4-hour, it's still a reversal pattern. So if this pushes up, I would look to sell again. I'm going to take these two off here because we already know what we're anticipating the market to do. All right, and I would focus on this area here. And my mouse is not working. Let's see, there we go. And you see this area here, it keeps trying to break out of. Those are your key areas. If it comes back up here again, start looking on your 15-minute for sale opportunities. But it looks like it's coming down to here because it has given us impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction. Now, one thing I'll bring your attention to, this is not moving very aggressively. Got some little choppy movements going on here. So if we want to see something aggressive, this right here is aggressive. And that was news. Then we had an aggressive, you can't see it for all of this right here. But if we zoom in, news knocked it back down. All it did was hit this previous support, got impulse, correction, continuation, correction, and it just kept rejecting off this zone. So again, looking at your daily, you might get some sell off to some of these areas, or it might retest this. But if you look at your weekly, we're on a definite uptrend. It's taken out this previous high. Once it broke out this previous high, right in here, and you see it did the same thing. It made that same little pattern when it reached that high. And that's why we look left, we look at previous price action. The pattern that it's making now, it made it here, bounced off this area and went up. So it could hit here, bounce off this area and go back up. This is the next most important area in gold. And with all this stuff going on, again, getting ready to hear somebody talk about economics and finance and how it affects the market and how you can capitalize and make money off of it. With everything going on with the trade wars, the dollar dropping, instability in the market, the things going on with China, when people get afraid of money and they feel the money, that these are people who are trading millions, billions, and trillions of dollars daily. If they're afraid of currency right now, they're going to buy something that holds value like gold, silver, palladium, oil. So these things are going up as currencies are going down. All right, that's all I have for tonight. I'm going to turn it over to my special guest. You know my special guest as Cam. Cam is the queen of trading the news. Cam has become a 7-figure trader from trading the news and has developed a strategy that she's going to share with us tonight. So I'm going to stop sharing, and everybody, welcome Cam. Cam drove here from... Oh yeah, everybody knows who Cam is, queen of the news. So we went out and got some crab legs, and now we're going to turn things over to Cam. Cam can start sharing her screen.
Ooh, y'all better get your pen and papers ready.
Yeah, get your pen and papers ready. Never seen before on ForexNChill. It's Cam with the Bag the News trading strategy. Yeah, everybody knows Cam loves crab legs, right?
Y'all know I love my seafood. So how's everyone doing tonight?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Good.
All is well. How about you?
Well, that's good. Let me get we already did number 1. Can I have a number 2 in the chat if you don't know who Cam Moore is? Oh, let me turn it off before my computer be going crazy. And whatever, Jamie, and you know exactly who I am. Hi, Crystal. Ooh, there's a lot of people that don't know me. Can the host give me permission to record? This is actually recording at the present moment, but I don't know about the you actually recording. That's something Guinevere would have to.
No, it'll be recorded and on YouTube. Everybody's gonna have access.
If it's not recording right now, I can record it.
It says it's recording in the corner.
Okay, cool. Now we're good then.
So oh, thanks, Jamie, and I try my best to be a good friend. Hey, Fanta, we're looking at your team. So for those that don't know who I am, my name is Cam Moore. I hail from Greensboro, North Carolina. I am 30 years young. I feel real old right now because my back is hurting, my leg is hurting. Oh, I need a whole chiropractor right now. But I saw this amazing concept about iMarkets Live back in January 14, 2018. As a matter of fact, the person that's smiling over there with all that tea is the one that introduced it to me because we signed up basically the same day. So that's my ride or die event Fanta. So you guys, if you ever wanted to know who was the person that recruited me, it was my own sister Fanta. So you guys say, hey, Fanta. Fanta like the soda, the chocolate soda.
Show on my shirt. Hey, everybody.
So I'm going to go over something that I was able to profit on in the very beginning of trading. I started in January 14, 2018. I will say the person that I was in January 13th is different from the person on January 14th because January 14th had really changed my life. And I've learned so many things along the way. I'm still learning. So please know that what I'm teaching you is bonus, okay? Please still do your market structure because that is vital and key to your success in Forex because you have to have that foundation set. So with my new strategy, this is just bonus. This is just to get you some quick pips and keep on moving. So when you have like mentors and figures like Stevenson Lindor, where he's holding positions for so long, the news is what's helping you build your account faster so that way you can be able to put yourself in a position where you can actually hold trades for a long period of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over my strategy. It's really, really quick. I'm going to drop a couple of things. If it's okay, I can drop some links in here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to drop.
Free reign.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me that one time, honey.
Run, don't run it.
Don't say that out loud.
Oh.
Hold on, am I still?
This is ForexNChill for real.
Right, okay. So in the actual group, not in the group, excuse me, in the chat, I'm going to give you various links that we're going to look over. Is my screen shared? Oh, we're looking at my screen. Okay, I'm looking at Fancy's phone. Okay, and the very last link is I have my actual Telegram group in here. If you ever wanted to know anything about the news, if you have any questions about the news, I train people very well to go look at the news because every single day that you trade, you should actually look at the economic news. You should know what's going on with the trade. You should know where it's going and everything. So please do not be out here blindly trading and you did not pay attention to the news because I will tell you, you will lose your money for not paying attention. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to start with, we're going to go over 5 websites. No, excuse me. Let me try this right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 websites. The 5th one you can read on your own. Let me move this over here because it should go over here. Okay, we're going to go over 4 websites. The 5th one you're going to just do on your own. You just read at your own leisure. Hopefully you understand what some of the things and terminologies are, but just do that whenever you want to. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started with the news strategy. So there's a couple of things that I do on ForexFactory.com. Again, I did post the links in the chat. So please, 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 please copy them down, save them as your favorites, your bookmarks, and everything. Okay, so step one. I like to go to Forex Factory. Now, I will tell you, you're more than welcome to go to any news outlet you want to. I personally like Forex Factory. It's where I've been going since last March, and it's where I will always be since last March. Okay? So when I go to Forex Factory, one of the things that I typically do first, you have to change your time zone. So if you go to the very, very top, you're going to see the login button, and then you see join, and then you have the timestamp. You need to go to this timestamp because if you don't live in the East Coast in the United States, you will need to change your time zone to wherever you are located. So please change your time zone, and that way we will know where exactly you are at in the world. So that way when you look at the news on the main page, you know exactly what news is coming out at your time. So once you do that, please put a 3 in the chat that you have successfully done that. Now it's 95 people plus, including myself now. Should be 94 threes.
Let me put my 3.
Okay, 94 threes. Hey, Monica. I see some people in here that I know.
Hello.
Hey. How do you do that again? So Larry, you see my screen? You see in the very corner, at the very top right corner, you have the login, join, and then you have the timestamp that says 10:45. You go right there and click on 10:45, and it'll let you change your time zone. So again, if you're not on the East Coast, you would need to change your time zone. And every time you travel outside of your time zone and you step into another one, you would definitely need to come over here and change your time zone each and every time.
Or you will blow your account.
You will blow your account. Well, you won't blow your account, you just miss the news. But don't be a fool to miss it, though. It might pay you well. Okay, I see. Okay. We have a lot of 3s, so we're just going to keep it moving because you guys are successfully doing it. But the way that I like to roll, I like to make sure if one falls short, we make sure that person has got it. So, Larry, did you get it? Oh, well, if you're on the east side, you don't have to do anything. Cool, just leave it alone. Okay. So the next thing that I like to do, I like to see my calendar 1 week at a time. So I don't like to see just one single day. So for you guys can see, it says today is August 16th. I like to see a week at a time. So what I do is click on today is August 16th. You have 2 calendars that pop up. Okay, so your very first calendar, you have some hyperlinks that's at the very bottom. Click on the one that says this week. Then on your second calendar, you will change your default view to this week. So going forward, every time you come to Forex Factory, it will always show a week at a time. So a week at a glance versus a day at a glance. Click Apply Settings, and you should see all of the news that happened between August 11th through the 17th, or if you're overseas, it's August the 18th to the 24th right now that you would see. Okay? Whatever. Okay, so the next thing I like to do, so what I do is I like to trade red folder news, okay? Red folder is considered to be high impact news, so the way that you can determine what news is what, all you have to do is look over here in impact and you have different colors. Like you have red for high impact, you have orange for medium, yellow for low, and then the gray one is non-economic, okay? What I like to do is only trade red folder news. You're more than welcome to trade any other color you want, but I'm gonna tell you something, you may waste your time. So please write this down. I trade nothing but red folder news, but if you wanted to trade any other color, it's kind of like coordinating them to be a red folder. So if you have 2 orange folders that are within the same currency market, then that's considered to be like a red folder news. If you have 4 yellows, it's considered to be red. So basically like one red or 2 orange make a red, or 2 yellows make an orange, but 2 more make a red. So that will consider to make high impact news if you have that many news that's coming out for that currency. So there was a vocal person that said, run that back. So let me run that back. So you have high impact news that come out. So I typically trade red folders. So I don't really look at orange or yellow folders, but what you can do is if you wanted to trade 2 orange folders, they're considered to be like red impact news if it's in the same currency market. 2 yellows will make an orange. So of course, 4 yellows will make a red folder. Okay, does everybody understand that or whatever? Awesome, didn't know that. Oh, yes, girl, you know, we learn little bit things over the course of time.
Always a student.
So, the next thing that we like to do, because I don't really care about the other color folders. I just stick to the red because it's less news that I have to worry about. So, I only look at red folders. So, all the way across from where you see the actual dates, you have a filters button. You just click on the filters button and you uncheck the orange and the yellow folder. There's a reason why I have you leave in the gray folders. And the gray folders let you know when a bank is closed or if there's a holiday.
Maybe he's talking about the numbers.
Are you talking about the numbers, Larry? Because there isn't a green folder, love. You must be talking about this. Is that what you're referring to, love? Oh, that's fine. We got him. I just want to make sure what Larry is seeing, you guys. He said it green. I mean, you do go through the green light. No, there used to be green ones before. No, there's only been 4 different colors. So there hasn't been a green folder that I know of, but all I've ever seen is just red, yellow, orange, and gray. That is correct, Carlos. That is correct. All right. Pen and paper. Okay, there are certain things you want to pay attention to. You can trade any red folder. Any red folder will help you out. But always take note of the trades that actually go through and actually take off. Because if they take off, then you don't have no problem. Sometimes you may have some news that it may not move at all, even though it's considered to be a high impact news. But write that down so that way in the future, if it happens again, then you can then for the 3rd time make the determination, do I really want to trade this? Because I don't want to keep trading something that's not taking off. Yes, roll over. I'm sorry.
It's ForexNChill.
She went from sitting on the couch to the side and rolled over. Yes. Okay. Whatever. So, red and folders. I trade nothing but red folders, but there are an exception to certain things. Now, anything that states monetary or economics, I'm always trading in regardless. So let's just say like this GDP news. I could have missed this. Well, technically, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I always miss GDP news because I'm not up at 4:30 in the morning. I am asleep. But I will catch this 8:30 or this 9:30. Well, really 8:30, I'm just waking up. 9:30, I'm up. So I typically would trade that, but that's PM. But still, whatever. And I'll trade that or whatever. So remember, anything that's monetary economics. So let me just explain what I mean. You have, let's see if I can go to back last week. Okay. Well, by a show of hands, because I see some of my actual students on here, if you traded the news and you were in on Tuesday, if you was in NZD, an NZD pair, please put a 7 in the chat if you profited from the strategy. 5, 4, 3, 2. Isaiah, it's fine. You know, it's all good. Yes, black arm. So the reason why I picked that news, because there is something that you definitely don't want to miss. Larry, it's okay. The way that I tell you guys, if y'all missed it, listen, what is it, 5.7 trillion a day in the market? You ain't missed nothing. It was not your time to get into that trade. But guess what? 5.7 is produced every day. You ain't missing nothing. But anyway, NZD news came out, and it was a very, very volatile news. So if I can show you guys trading view real quick. We're going to go to GBP NZD really, really quick. And I wanted to show you guys something. Ooh, not NZF. Right. I'm making new currencies. Okay. We are going to look at this. Let's measure this. So news took off on this candle. This was a 15-minute chart. In 15 minutes, this went up at 312 pips within a 15-minute candle. No, I'm just looking at the line. I just need from the bottom to the top. When I say that is a lot of pips in seconds, sometimes you have some of your favorite traders or IML educators, they are waiting for a week just to get a 300 pip movement. And you got that in seconds. Within 6 candles, it jumped up to 400 and I can't see. Sorry, Al. My little thing in the way. Oops. I'm gonna have to redraw this. It went from here to here total. 461 pips in an hour and a half. That is a lot of pips. You guys, when you said say that again, this is no shade or no digs or anything. Please don't think that or take this how I'm saying this. Sometimes you have your favorite traders or your favorite educators are teaching you, and most of the time they're more position people, and they're waiting to get this amount of pips within a week. But you have, or a month, and you got this within an hour and a half. In 6 candles, you got a total of 461 pips. That's a lot of pips within an hour. Even just the 15-minute pips alone, the 15-minute candle alone, that was a lot on its own. So that's why I say always trade something that states rate. Don't miss nothing that indicates cash rates or unemployment rates. Don't miss nothing that says the word rate into it. Policy statements, anything that sounds like it's money, monetary, or economics, do not miss that. You can miss any other red folder, but do not miss nothing that sounds like money. So example, like the AUD news, if I'm not mistaken, AUD news this week took off as well. But there was a lot of people that had some, I like to go over things too. So on Tuesday, did anyone see that big increase in the middle of the week? That just about every single trade or every single pair, or didn't matter what you was trading, it just all spiked up out of nowhere at like 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did anyone notice that? Does anybody know what happened? Now remember, you don't see anything on here that says at that time I was talking about. This is only just USD news, but yeah.
Features?
What are you saying? There was no news. So Lydia, even though there was scheduled news at the time that it came out, breaking news is always your best friend. So if you don't subscribe, if you don't have Twitter, you don't have CNBC, you don't have Bloomberg, please make sure it's CNBC. Make sure you are paying attention to what's going on in financial markets of the world. You need to pay attention to that. The reason why I knew something was going on, because if you've been noticing lately, there's a lot of news. Mine is full. Did you put a lemon in it?
Yeah, but you don't stop.
Oh, girl, she said this is ForexNChill. Whatever. Anyway, so whatever. The terrorists, mine is full. I will tell you that. I haven't said anything.
We're talking about tea, guys. Tea, lemonade.
Sorry, this is tea that we had brought
From the crab
from the crab leg place. So we had breaking news that came out, and it affected every single pair, indices, crypto, exotic pairs, you name it, it affected it out of the blue. So what I normally tell people is when something happens and you see like a big jump within the market and it's unexplainable and you don't know why, the first thing you need to be doing is Googling, or you can come to Forex Factory and you can actually come over here and click on the news tab and come over here and look at what's going on, because you always get stuff that's happening over here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's so nice.
Okay.
And over here. And over here. So always come up here and pay attention to that, because this is one reason why a lot of people get caught in pullbacks or anything. So just like, let's see. Let me go back. So I'm sorry, you guys.
Just follow the seed.
Yes. Wait the first.
It ain't
So-
chill.
So you guys can tell by this candle has really increased and it went up, but you know what goes up must come down. So let's just use a line that shows if it ever came back down here where it initially started. So we're gonna go here, 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 here. Eventually it did come here. So what was the 9th? What was the 9th, y'all?
Sunday?
Was the 9th on a Sunday?
No.
The
Monday.
9th was Friday.
The 9th was last Friday?
16 minus 7, 9.
Oh, today's the 16th, and the 15th. Okay.
So on the 6th, this took off in the middle of the night. On the 9th, it finally corrected itself. So it literally took, what, 3 days or less than 2.5 days just to correct itself.
Where's the new one?
The news candle, that long green candle, when we calculated those pips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it finally came down there. So that's why it's very, very imperative that you pay attention to that. So you can always be able to figure out what's going on. So typically if something is rising out of the news and it's just an alarming rate and you don't know how to trade it or you don't know how to look at it, just always know if this goes up any kind of way at an alarming rate, it has to come back down to trend, because this move right here, this was the trend. All of this down here was the original trend. None of this is the trend. All of this had to come back down before you reach this point. So a lot of people could have caught all those pips in a buy and all of it in a sell. Honey, you could have made over 1,000 pips just off of this movement.
It moved up like overall in like 3 days. It went up
The overall trend is still right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like that
So
new
when you-
fake out I was showing earlier with that candle. That was
And if you miss them impulses, you can go with the trend.
You missed a serious impulse, but if you missed the initial impulse, just always know, please, if you knew that it shot up in a buy, do not get in a trade that's a buy. If someone I'm saying it, if someone calls a signal and you didn't see a serious impulse, do not jump in as no buy. You might can get you a cute look 3 or 5 pips out of that, but do not be fooled and stay in there for a long period of time, because you will blow your account.
Because news is not a reversal.
News is not a reversal. News is a stop line. It was supposed to get them people out in one direction, meaning it was getting all those people that was in a sell out.
that daily wick I showed you guys.
That daily wick, shoot up in a buy, and come back down.
Right back out of that trend line perfectly.
Right, exactly. It has to always come back to the original trend. So before I move from that, y'all funny. Before I move from that, does anybody have any questions? How do you know which way the candle go? Felicia, I got you, girl. Hold on. I got you, boo.
What she asked?
How do you know which way the candle will go?
For the news?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the strategy. You haven't told me the strategy
Right. Which I get that question all the time.
before you tell us. Okay.
Right.
We
Do you
got
check
you,
the
Leash.
right? When you check the pairs, WCU?
What is the world currency unit?
Oh, world currency unit before you trade to understand the direction. No, Isaiah, I eliminate all that. Do you use the stop loss when it comes to news? I don't, but you can. But I mean, that's just me. But I'm not telling you what I do. I mean, I trade with no stop loss. That's just my personal preference. Now, I'm just gonna make sure this is clear. Just because I don't trade with a stop loss, I do have a risk management level. Like, I know how much I'm not gonna risk. So that's the thing. If you're not gonna use a stop loss, then you need to be at a certain amount where, hey, I know where I'm going to stop at.
Because Cam is actively watching it. So
This is a trader's tip. You can also set up an alert where your stop loss might be.
I do that.
Oh, that works too. Yes. I wish I knew about this 2 weeks ago with ACAD. Blew my most of my account. I'm sorry, love. That's unnecessary, but that's okay, girl. We're gonna get you right. Oh, sorry, we're gonna get you right, so don't even worry. Okay, so we're gonna move on from that. Now, this page right here, this is gonna be super quick. We're gonna move through it. I need you to understand this page right here, okay? We have two different colors. Oh, I forgot the camera off. We have two different colors. We have gray and blue. Gray is for the short, is for sales. Buy is for the long, and it's the color blue. Okay, so remember we was using the GN as an example. Let's just say one of these, let's just say right here was GN. So it's telling you that 29% of the market here is in on buy, in a sell, while 71% of the market is in a sell. What the market, well, we had this conversation in the car about market makers. We don't know if that's a myth. We don't know who they are. Just like when people say they always doing something, well, who are the market makers? So let's use this as an example because people can actually follow along when I give them this example. Originally, this trend was supposed to be a sell because we already determined that based on what Guinevere went over earlier. This was supposed to be a sell, okay? What typically happens is that the market will shoot up in the opposite direction. So basically, we're going to fake all of these people out over here that was in a sell into a buy, hit their stop losses or margin them out, and then eventually come back down to the actual trend. So in essence, I'm looking, before I trade something, so this is where I started thinking about if I want to start trading the news, I'm looking for something that's over half. What is the market looking like? What are the buyers and sellers in the most? These are fan favorite pairs. You don't get all of the pairs because I know someone's going to ask you this question. You don't have all of the pairs, you have some of the pairs. So these are the fan favorite, most popular pairs that they are in. You're looking for over half. Normally I say over 60, 61% or higher. Doesn't matter whichever direction it's in, as long as you follow that protocol. So you're just looking for something that's over half, over 60 to 61% or higher, and that's that. You just write that down, and if the news is coming out, so like U.S. news is coming out, let's just say it's 11:07, at 11:15 we have news coming out. Oh, I'm gonna look at silver gold, AU, UCHIEF, EU, UJ, and that's it. I'm just gonna put that to the side, okay? So let me make sure this is clear. Remember, the gray is for short, which is a sell. The blue is for the buy, which is the long. You're looking for something that's over half, either 60 to 61% or higher, and you're looking to see what I could possibly look at trading the news. The links, I'm gonna post all of the links again. They are all in order by the way that I pressed on the tab, except for I did move this economic one, it's the last one. So they are all in order, okay? We're gonna fly by that page. You guys are more than welcome to ask me a question at the end on that one. Okay, one thing that I typically look for or look at is a currency strength meter, because throughout the day, you get people that accept trades from people and they always maybe in a somewhat of a pullback and they don't check things for themselves. So what I like to do is see what is the market doing? What is the currency doing? So let me give you a great example or a good analogy with this. Anything that's one bar that's considered to be red, that is weak. So that means in this area or in this currency, the dollar is weak. So the Japanese yen here is weak, just like the New Zealand dollar. The Canadian dollar, we have the Canadian dollar is strong. It has 6 bars. So once you have 6 bars, that means in this currency, it's the strongest dollar right now. I'm looking for something that's either strong and weak or weak and strong. The reason why I say that because you can't make up your own pairs. You have to follow the pair sequence that we have either on our quote screen or our market watch on our computer. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
going? Let me take a beginner's class.
Yes.
Yes, Jamie.
Yes.
Never told? Yes.
Yes, I am.
Don't
You better
play.
stop. You better stop. You have another problem than that.
What is that?
Lord, see, now you got Jamie started. Lord, now he gonna be hunting us down, hunting me down. Like, who was that in the background? Move on.
Yes, move on.
Come on now.
You started it.
Listen. Tell everyone to call him later.
Please repeat.
So let's repeat this again. This is a currency. You funny. This is a currency strength meter. So whenever I like to use this as one of my confirmations, if you will. I don't wait for nobody. Tom waits for no money. I don't know what Gigi or Jamie or Grant or whoever got the time to look at a trade for me because they may be busy. You see her internet already shooting off because it's thundering over here. So I don't have time for her to be looking at my trades because her internet is shoddy right now. So I need to know what's going on because I'm going in the opposite direction. But you can come over here and see what's going on just looking at the strength meter. This you can use this on day-to-day trading. This is not just for the news. But when you have one bar, color bar, that means in that currency, the dollar is weak. The Canadian dollar has 6 bars, so it has this really, really bright green. That means it's strong within that area, okay? That means you're looking to pair something strong with something weak or weak with something strong. Yes, there go my sis, Rihanna. So, I don't know, Bree.
Oh, it's Bree. Hey, Cole.
What is what?
Hey, Cole.
Well, I ain't think so. Whatever.
She be chilling too much. You shouldn't tell her the name.
Whatever, anywho. So with that being said, we are going to do some examples together as a class because what I do on my segments when I teach the news, you're going to actually interact with me as well. I'm not just gonna be the only one. So what I like to do is I look at a 50, what's wrong?
She's like,
oh.
She on one.
Right, I'm like, is she about to pass out? So on a 15-minute chart, I want you guys to pull up your MetaTrader 4 on a 15-minute chart, okay? Now, before someone asks, Brianna and I just like to look at the 15-minute chart because it's not too much movement. It's not enough movement. It's just enough, okay? Yeah, lay down. We got you.
Let me get back logged in. Can you start recording?
So, no, she shouldn't. It should still record long as the session is still going. Yeah, it's still recording. Okay. That's when she was sending it to her computer. But with that being said, so let's look at a pair right now. We're going to just look at the overall trend of what previously happened, okay? We are going to look at CJ, CADJPY, CADJPY on a 15-minute chart. So what I like to do, what?
Oh, we're just talking about time difference.
Oh, whatever. Anywho, so CJ, you're looking for something. The previous trend, was it buying, selling, or was it consolidating? They so shady, y'all. We're looking for it was buying, selling, or consolidating. You guys look at the chart and you tell me what you see.
Yeah, well, no.
Oh, girl, she knows that.
What?
That bed is not small. It's teeny.
Buying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said a buy? Okay.
It's scaling up.
Okay. What about NZDCAD? Is that buy? Was that buying, selling, or consolidating?
Selling.
All right, so that's that. So let's look at let's look at EURUSD. Was that buying, selling, or consolidating? What are we looking at again? We looked at CJ, we looked at NCAD, NZDCAD, and we looked at we're looking now at EURUSD. This candle smells
It
good.
does.
Where you get this candle from? Bath and Body Works.
ADD.
First I got them
Oh,
trying to figure out things.
Are they music?
No, they're not. It's consolidating. Miss Felicia, why you say it's selling?
Yeah, it's creating that flag.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go over. And I'm trying to see if you guys saw what I just gave you. So I didn't give you a signal, but I just told you something by you looking. So you had CADJPY was the very first one. You guys told me it was buying. And why is it buying? Because your Canadian dollar is stronger than your Japanese yen. Okay? I don't even have to go to the chart to know that it was buying. But you also was looking at NZD-CAD. Okay? NZD-CAD. That was selling. Because the New Zealand dollar is weaker than the Canadian dollar, excuse me. But what did you just realize out of that? Does anybody know what we just looked at? And that's just regular trading. What did we
There's
do?
a correlation.
Ooh. What'd you say, Mr. Johnny?
That there is a correlation with the peers that you
You better tell it, boo.
I just want him to talk all day.
Yes, you better. Okay.
Correlation.
Move on. But yes, you better tell it. That is correct. If you didn't understand what he just said, that was correlation pair. Why? Because you had a Canadian pair that you were in two different directions. One was buying and you got in a different direction, one was selling. I hope y'all caught that. I didn't give you a signal, but you know, you saw it for yourself.
I don't want to burst that.
Well, you know, it's frozen on the currency strength meeting. I don't see your chart. Well, you didn't see my chart, Dreams, only because I didn't pull the chart up. That was for you to pull up.
Hey, come.
Yes.
So when you enter your trade, do you do a buy stop and a sell stop?
Oh, one moment, sir. I got you, boo. Hold that thought, and I got you. Dreamers only. That was the participation part that you had to do. You had to pull up the chart and tell me what did you see. So yeah, EUR/USD, the reason why I picked that because why is consolidating because I will never trade two things that equal strength.
When I do my weekly analysis, that's what I tell them.
Never trade anything that has equal strength. All you're gonna do is be in a consolidation all day long. Now you can catch pips out of it, but I ain't got time to be going a 3 up, 5 down, 4 up. No, that's just
block it off in the zone.
That's all you be doing trading on the zone. But I mean, you can do that. Right. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys understood that part. Okay. Now we're gonna skate on past that, and then we're gonna actually use something else that I actually love because if you're an analytical person, you definitely will like this. So, remember we was looking at CJ, right? We also looked at EU, CJ, and what's it looking at?
NZ, wasn't it?
NZD, CAD. Yeah. Okay. So I like to look at various things. So we can look at this chart real quick and we can go over something. We can look at GJ and you can see that GJ is buying. Remember, you're pairing something strong with something weak and something weak with something strong. You can't make up your own pairs, but you can actually see for yourself. So if you look at GJ, GJ is buying. CJ is buying. I'm trying to get it. NZD. Well, yeah, but that's not on which call.
Okay.
No, it's not one. The Finbiz. Well, the reason why I pulled out the GJ, because if you can tell by GJ right here, that this GJ is buying. And I mean, if you wanted to look at EG, I mean, it's too close in strength, but I wouldn't fool with it. But on Finbiz is telling you that it's a strong sell as well. So with Finbiz, for my analytical people, You're typically going to look right here at this number right here. Doesn't matter if it's, what matters if it's positive or negative. Positive is a buy and negative is a sell. Just like the colors, green and red. Green is a buy, red is a sell. You're looking for something that's getting closer and closer to 1%. The stronger it gets, the more this number will go up further than 1%. And guess what? You will be in a strong position in your trade. So with that being said, you guys, we looked at GJ, and the first strength meter told us that it was buying because it was stronger than the Japanese yen. You went to the second one and it confirmed it. So did you need to ask Guinevere or Jamie or me or Fanta or God
Always ask
about
God.
this? Well, always ask God. You know, God only can, God gives you the money, but but you didn't have to ask nobody else. This is actually you're going out and fishing for yourself. But I give you guys things that you can use for the news as well as use day to day as well. Okay. Just another tidbit. If you click over here and you see the sub tab over here and you see performance, if you click on the performance tab, and this just shows favorite pairs as well, just like the Owanda, you can come over here and look at the percentage of how much your actual trade or the pair that you have has moved in a percentage, or you can do it in pip change and you can see how many pips. Ooh, how many pips that moved? Look at that. Bitcoin. That Bitcoin has been pumping up.
32.66 per hour. Bitcoin is on the rise.
On a rise. So yeah, this lets you know every single thing that you guys need to know. And I love this because analytical people like numbers, like Fanta. Okay. All right. So I know somebody asked me a question in reference to, well, what do we do, Cam? What do we do? What do we do? This is what you do. So you can screenshot this page. If you join the actual news group, it is at the pinned post. This is the strategy that I've created. This is work. Do not deviate from the plan. If you're going to do anything, increase the number, not decrease the number. Okay? So I like to make everything interactive. It's 90 plus people on here. So what does, at the very top we have, it says breaking the news strategy. What does it say in red? My mouse, oh. What does it say in red, team? Right under the name of the strategy.
Market execution.
What does it say?
It's got it.
Can't really see it.
Oh, you-
One time.
Market execution. There we go. Now you
Absolutely.
It had that cover. Absolutely no market execution.
Yes, to the people in the room. Absolutely no market execution, because you do not want to be that person that got in that GBP NZD news and that bad boy went 400 pips on you, the wrong in the other direction. Yes, Onika.
Hey,
No, I use that as a, that's why I put absolutely, because of that time when we had with Onika, we thought we had to do a welfare check of her job because she would not get out that trade fast enough. But please don't do any market execution. No buy limits or sell limits. We only play stops. So buy stops and sell stops in the initial beginning. Okay. Who would like to read number one? Because I don't like to read. Oh, you're more than welcome to read, Fanta. Go ahead.
I'm going to read because your microphone's on. Review the strength meter, either one, current spreads, and open position 10 minutes before the news breaks.
Awesome.
Thank you. I learned early.
Whatever. Anybody would like to read number two?
Yeah, allow 5 to 7 minutes to place your pending buy, sell, stocks, orders before the news break.
Yes, that's correct. So after we review step one, then say like if new, what time is it for me? It's 11:24 right now. So news is getting ready to come out at 11:30. This is just an example. News is getting ready to come out. I'm going ahead and put my pending order in because I'm giving myself 5 minutes. You have to have that order in. If the news says on Forex Factor it comes out at 11:30, you need to have that in by 11:29 both not at the time, but before the time. So, who would like to read number 3?
Underneath the term market execution, select buy, sell, stop. You can only place one order at a time.
Okay. So you guys see the 2 little diagrams? You have the one that's, for iPhones, and you have and trash on the left. Girl, how's your battery life?
Awesome. My phone's still on. How about yours?
My phone is wonderful. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to get into an argument with the Android user. So anyway, what you're typically going to do is on number 3, you're going to click where it says the term market execution. Then you have buy stop, sell stop. Which one do you want to click on? So I like to do left to right first. So who's reading number 4? No.
From the current price point, calculate 12 to 15 pips. Above or below, calculate your entry point.
Thank you. Okay, so I like to do from left to right. So typically the sell is on the left and the buy is on the right. So I would do the sell stop first. And so when I click on market execution, you'll have another field that pops up underneath here and it says price. Once I got that straightened, I know that the market is actually moving. So these numbers are always jumping and moving. So you're looking at your pip focal point. So as we are glancing and we see something, we're looking at 1.21944. Well, I'm just gonna look at that. So with that being said, if I'm doing a sell stop for this and I have to do 12 to 15 pips, and let's just say we're just gonna do 12 for this example, then what is 94 subtract 12? What?
82.4.
82.4.
Who is
He's doing it on
that?
purpose. Whoever that is doing all that baritone on purpose.
That's Jamie all day
I
long.
know, James.
You said 12 minus that, right?
Yes, 94 subtract 12 is 82. So
82.4.
that is correct. So in the price field, we're going to put 1.21824 in the price field. So after you calculate that, I'm reading number 5. So after you calculate your entry point, which is the 1.21824, you are going to either do a 10 pip take profit or you are going to ride the candle out and jump out. Because I'm going to tell you something. If that GBP NZD went up 400 something pips, honey, that 10 pip thing is a thing in the past. I need all 400 of that. Run me that. And I'll just jump out at the time.
NZD always moves well.
It sure do, but it's something I don't trade because we have a domestic violence relationship. It whooped me. It stole from me. And I would never be with it again. It would never be a trade I would be in. It sounds very theft-like. It's been stealing my money. So I don't trade anything that's NZD. So, right. Yes.
So for me, right, I personally used to use take profits. What would I do? I move my stop loss into 10 pips profit and keep on riding it out.
That's perfectly fine with me. You can either do that, you can either move it up when you get 10 pips, or you can do a trailing stop on your computer. I will prefer the trailing stop over the stop loss. I need to keep getting that money. So, and then number 6, somebody read number 6.
You.
Yes, with attitude. Here we go. Yes, Monica.
You will need to determine that is your.
Yes. Yes, Monica.
Woo! Keyword, your.
You and yours, okay?
I'll tell you the spell wrong. That's fine.
What is?
No, it's not. No.
Don't come for me. Girl will throw this phone at you. She playing with me, child. So anyway, yes, because and this is just me talking, I hope I'm not stepping on Gigi toes or anything, but this is just me. Professionally, I don't agree with someone telling me what a stop loss I should put in because you don't know what I'm willing to risk, vice versa. I don't look at no previous candle high or low, nothing of that. Right.
Can I?
I'm sure if you would like. Hi, this is
This is
Beyonce.
Yes, Beyonce. This is Fanta, and a lot of people say proper risk management, and a lot of people don't know what that means. So if you have a $50 account and you're trading the news, and like Cam just said,
period.
you're doing the trailing stop loss, you're doing all these different things to maximize your gain. In that specific situation, you don't know how much you stand to gain because you're trading and just trying to get the most out of it until your trailing stop loss hits. But you still only have a $50 balance, okay? So, going into it, I don't want to lose any more than $5. I don't want to lose any more than $10. Your broker ain't gonna let you lose more than $30 before they say, we're not gonna hold this trade for you anymore. So proper risk management is just that. How much money based off of your balance are you willing to risk losing on this trade? And losing is the key word right there because there's no risk if you're winning. It's not proper gain management. It's proper risk management. So that's where your decision has to go. If you see this trade not going in the direction you need to, and it's accumulating, if you have a $50 balance and you get $5 loss, you just lost 10% of your balance. You don't want to lose 10% of your balance on any trade. Just like if you have a $1,000 balance and you lose 100 on a trade. Once it starts going towards 200, you might want to close that out and find a new position so you can regain that. So proper risk management, when it says your own stop loss, you need to look at what your balance is and how much money you're willing to risk on this one trade. Greed will mess you up. So please, please, please manage yourself accordingly.
Hey guys, one thing about proper risk management, this is a true story that came from an IML trader this week. He took 11 trades. He lost 8 trades and won 3 trades, and he doubled his accounts.
Yep.
Because you cut a bad trade the way you should cut an X out of your life. Don't hold on to a bad trade. It will drag your account down. You want to live to trade again. It's better to get out of a bad trade and make the money back on a good trade. So he lost 8 out of 11 trades. So if you can double your account winning only 3 out of 11, then that's phenomenal. So that's really good risk management. If you can lose 8 trades, win 3, and double your account because you took the loss.
Hey, come.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. I have another question.
Okay.
So I can use your strategy for NFP then.
You said for NFP?
Yeah, because sometimes.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad that you said that. Oh my God, I missed that part. Yes. NFP, that's NFP and FOMC, which is the Federal Open Markets Committee. The 2 of them you do not miss. Definitely trade them. I don't care what you're doing. You could be at work, make yourself available. I lost my wallet. The school's calling me about my kids. My child is missing. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to excuse yourself from your situation and come back and trade that, and then come back within the next 10 minutes after you got your profits. But yes, please make yourself available for those 2. Out of all news, please make yourself available. And Wednesday, every Wednesday at 10:30, even though you don't see it on the news as a red folder no more, it did drop down to like a yellow folder as a low impact news, but it's critical. If you like to trade U.S. oil, you're more than welcome to trade that at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday.
Tell them the correlation between oil and cash.
Yes, and if you are afraid or anything about trading oil because it may be too volatile for your account, you're more than welcome to trade a Canadian pair. Preferably, I would say UCAD, but that's up to you. Right. And then you repeat steps 2 through 6, and you do your second pin in order for your buy, and that's it. So, disclaimer: Please, past profit does not guarantee future results. You trade the news and everything else at your own risk. Never risk what you're not willing to lose. Please use PRM, which is proper risk management. I am not responsible for your profits nor your loss, aka what all that means is don't call compliance on me if something goes left, okay? Because I didn't put the gun to your head and make you get these trades. You did that.
It's real easy to get greedy on, guys. Proper risk management. Don't be increasing the lot sizes if your balance can't hold it.
Now, if you're gonna call compliance now and you profited, please let them know that you did win as well. If you're gonna tell them that you lost, okay? Please let them know. And that concludes my, well, no, it doesn't. Hold on, one last thing. Little fun facts and then I'm through. Let me find my last little photo. Fun facts is somewhere on here. Sorry, y'all. This Mac is all over the place sometimes. Don't come from my computer. Oh, okay. Keep it cute. Whatever, So, fun facts. So, if your buy or sell stop order activates, then quickly, swiftly, expeditiously close. That other one did not activate because there's no need for you to have two of them open or one just sitting there, because you will mess around, and when it starts to pull back down after you collect your profits, it will activate that other order by mistake, and you do not want that kind of day unless it's in your favor. Then that's a double profit day for you. But if you place your pending orders and nothing happens and they don't activate, neither one within 5 to 7 minutes, close your order and move on about your day. Speeches take some time to activate. Lately, I would say when Powell is speaking for the United States market, make sure you are on point with that one because he's moving the market too. But if your orders doesn't activate within 7 to 10 minutes, close your orders, close both the pending orders and move on about your day.
Okay, come.
Yes.
All right. Our next suggestion though. As you're saying, if one of the pending order activates, it happened to me already for NFP, right? I activated 2 pending orders, a buy and a sell, right? It went up and it activated my buy, went up to like almost 60 pips, and then after it shut down and activated my sell. However, for my buy, I already took about 30 pips profit, and I left the sell to run.
He said he did a buy stop and a sell stop. He got 50 pips on the buy and closed it out, and then it shot back down and it activated his sell and he left it to run. He cut it both ways.
Oh, so you caught it both ways. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you can do that if you want to, but that's living a dangerous life.
It's risky.
That's risky.
It's very risky.
No, I mean, if it profited for you, it's fine, but it's risky.
Not very much. You can keep talking.
Yeah, that's a little bit risky for me in my forte, but I don't really say do that. Ooh, I'm not sure.
Proper risk management, guys. Anything works when it works, but it's also taking the trades that are high probability. So if you subscribe to doing that, to leaving them both open, you're also subscribing to be either caught in limbo or possibly blowing your account, especially if you forget that you kept them both open.
Yes, what's in you?
All right, guys, this is the Stenu app. You can put it on Android or Apple, and you can put in your account balance. You can tell it what pair you are trading, what your stop loss is, and it will tell you how much of your account you want to risk, and it will tell you exactly what lot size to use. Like if you put 2%, it's going to give you a certain lot size. If you put 3%, it's going to give you a certain lot size. And you can use this every day on every trade. So if you don't have it on your cell phone and you want to use proper risk management, it's going to change based on what you put in, your lot size, your risk management, and how many pips stop loss. Okay? So look this up on your cell phone, and before you jump in a trade, you can use this. A lot of people use the My FX book online, but this right here, I like it because it's on your cell phone and you can use it instantly. You know, it's very user friendly. It's got all the currencies. You put in the currency pair, your risk, how much you want to risk, your account balance, and how many pips stop loss you are going to use. So it's
Bree is funny. Some bathroom break. God called me. Move on.
all right. So if you don't have that app, it's a great app to use in your trading. All right. All right. So everybody, give Cam some fire. Woo, 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 for jumping on and sharing her trading strategy with us tonight on Trading the News. Now Cam has other strategies. This is what.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cam.
This was my bread and butter in the beginning.
And everybody wants to know.
Thank you, Cam.
How to follow them on their
Hello, Gigi.
IG.
Please, I'm trying to join Cam Instagram. I can't seem to get it. Could you please?
Good looking, Cam.
Say my name. Say my name. I love you too. I love you too. I love you too.
I love everybody.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get my stuff pulled up.
Somebody shared it.
Move off, Jamie. I'm talking about what my deep voice said.
All right, Jamie. Can you say something in your deep voice?
No, please don't do that.
Okay, he's laughing in his deep voice.
God damn, Darth Vader.
Thank you.
You know what? We haven't acted crazy on ForexNChill.
We got to cut the road.
Tell I'm back home.
This is me. This is me on Instagram. _ say my name. That's _ SAYMII name. Somebody stole my and why both ways, so I had to make it fancy or fancy. And then you can follow me also on Facebook, which is Kajarvis Elmore. And if you haven't checked out Netflix, go look at Money Heist. It's really good.
She did not get no money for that.
Okay. Full-fledged free promotion. Hey, Erica. Wait a minute. Who's Jason? You know Jason? Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
know
he's
him.
on here.
Okay, look. Let me make sure. But yes, I'm here. _ say my name on Instagram. And I do follow back. Now, I will tell you, I am at 2 positions that's available on Facebook. 2 positions that's available. Wait a minute, I might not be at 2.
Oh, you almost maxed out?
I keep messing. I have to keep deleting people. I need to delete 2 people.
I
But
I had to delete 10 people to add people last week.
yeah, I've been having to do that.
You know that
So yeah, I have 2 left. Ooh, got 1 left. Well, never mind. I don't have nobody else. Let me delete some people, y'all. I know y'all gonna be adding me, but I'm gonna delete some people.
See, y'all, I bring on guests that delete people to make room for the ForexNChill family. See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been traveling. Just got home late last night, guys. A lot of you were there for me.
What?
A couple months ago, when I came home, my mom passed away. This is my first time having to come home without my mommy here.
No.
So, I was gonna take a break tonight. Cam came to hang out with his sister, and I'm like, you know what, Cam? Let's do ForexNChill and make you the guest host tonight. Let's share some of this knowledge with the people, because you know how I am. I just want to bring people on here. Thank you, Larry. I want to bring people on here that can add value to your trading lives. We're all one big happy Forex family. Y'all know I support and love everybody, especially if they have value to bring to everybody. And God bless you all. If you don't have any more questions, comments, if all hearts and minds are clear, we'll go past the offering plate. Call it a night.
Yeah, it's an offering plate.
Hey, Guinevere.
Hey, show me your IG again.
The IG is posted again as _ say MII name. Say my name, like that.
Because at the end of the day, they will be saying my name.
Yes, training was recorded, guys. Y'all know I like to sleep in late on Saturday. My body's still on another time zone. Don't wake me up asking me for the recording. It will be posted, I promise. And if somebody invited you here tonight and you're new to Forex, you're new to IML, get back with that person about how to become a permanent part of the family. We're here to see everybody win. You know, some days my family makes a lot more money than me, and it makes me proud. It's like a proud mama moment or a proud coach moment. We're here to see everybody win, to see everybody make money. Like they say in church, if you're looking for a church family, or if you're looking for a Forex family, that's what we are. Sign up. Thank you everybody that's sending your love about my mom. It was unexpected and I was away from home, but I've been taking her picture with me everywhere, so she's got to see parts of the world that she never got to see before. You know, like I tell people, she's seeing stuff right now that I've never seen before.
Well, girl, she
So
was
I'm a
there
little
before
jealous.
you.
Yeah.
She got to see
So
everything.
I love you guys. Let me share my YouTube. You can just, and this is where you can find the recording, and you know, we'll come back, we'll bring more guests. I get tired of showing y'all the same thing every week, and I like to bring you guys some value. Just type in ForexNChill, one word. Cam will be starting her YouTube pretty soon, but Cam will be on here.
Oh yeah, so we're doing a lot on YouTube. Blogging, the day of the life of a trader.
Yeah, so Cam will be starting her YouTube and a couple other things, and just we'll bring her back on later, give you more ways to follow her. She's part of our IML family. So God bless you all. We love you all. I'll bid you good night, and I will see y'all on the winning side of the pips. All right. Good night, everybody. You can unmute and say good night and say thank you.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Ruby.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for inviting me.
Night.
Jamie, you got to be the last one to say good night.
Oh Lord, no.
Let's cut the rope.
Oh, Jamie's cut the rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, Kim.
Good night, my fearless leader.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Y'all ain't got to go.
Anyways, good morning here.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Good morning on the other side of the road.
Good morning.
I'll stay in trouble. Y'all catch those pills.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Love you
Yeah,
guys.
girl, I was about passing out, girl. She had me rolling.
That's so roast all day long. I already know who that is.